Hello, everyone. It's another episode of that little gay talk show, the fourth nap edition. I've now officially broken my record and taken 4 naps in a 7-hour period. Let's see. Okay, so here's how my nap system has been working for like the last couple of weeks. Okay, so I go to bed at 1, 2. I wake up at 4. I can't sleep, so I play games for a little bit on my phone. Then I get up possibly and make a little breakfast. Then I play some more games on my phone and read the news. Then I take first nap, and first nap usually starts at about 6. So remember, I have woken up at 2. Wait, did I say 2? I might have said 4. Either way, I've woken up before then. So then I will sleep till 9 and then go, you know what? It's 9 in the morning. I'm going to get up and do a couple of things. So I'll get up and do a couple of things. I'll walk up to the computer and turn it on. And then I will walk into the kitchen and grab a drink, usually a Gatorade or something like that. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to lay on the couch and watch TV, watch news, or watch news? Read news. I don't really watch a lot of news on TV. Read news. I put my blanket on, and then I'm asleep again, until which I sleep till about noon. Then I'll get up and go, you know what? I'm hungry, and I'll make myself a little snack. Then load the dishwasher, because I'm like, oh, my God, I left the dishwasher open last night. And then maybe straighten up the kitchen a little bit. Then, like, you know what? I was still reading the news. So I'm going to read the news on the couch. And then I fall asleep again, to which I wake up at 3. So here we are. A lot of sleeping. But I don't want you to think that all I've been doing is sleeping through this whole pandemic thing. We're broadcasting from Houston, Texas. And for those of you who know, Texas will be reopening on some of their businesses on Friday. We're not going to go full tilt here in Texas like they did in Georgia and South Carolina. Everything's a little bit more measured. So at least it's a little bit more organized than it is in Georgia. And you still won't be able to go to the gym. You still won't be able to go to the hair salon. You won't be able to go out to eat. But even then, can you imagine trying to go out to eat in a restaurant that has 25% capacity? Now, I work in a restaurant business. I'm a waiter, and I'm also a bartender. So one of my friends already got the phone call that he would be going back to work at another location that we have. So I'm thinking that they're just going to open that location for Sunday brunch and see how it goes before they open their other locations, I guess. But I haven't gotten a phone call yet. And I'm trying to think, you're doing 25% capacity, which means you won't have a completely full staff just yet. I'm trying to picture 10 waiters with 5 tables each. I mean, not with 5 tables each, with 5 tables inside the restaurant. So this is going to be interesting. A few restaurants in town have said that they're not going to open until the middle of May because they don't think that 25%. They think 25% is ridiculous right now. They're going to continue to do to-goes and takeout, which a lot of restaurants have been doing. So we will see. I do know that a certain billionaire restaurant owner who got a $300 million loan, by the way, will be opening up their restaurants, their chain of restaurants all over the country, including Houston. So you can go to the aquarium downtown. You can go to all the Landry's own restaurants. You'll be able to go back to Papa Do's and all those other restaurants that are, I don't know which restaurants are owned by Landry's. And as a lot of waiters in this business know, I don't really care. Honestly, I really don't care that much. A lot of people like Landry's restaurants, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not a particular fan, especially those in the waiting field. Not a particular fan. So there's that. Drinking my Gatorade here. Ooh. Yes, we've had a little bit of the drink going on, but you know what? I want to know what's going on with you. What is everybody doing? You know, Singapore, who has been on the show in the past, put out an interesting. Well, it's not that interesting. It's Facebook. I'm sure everybody's been asked this question before. What kind of hobbies are going on while we've all been basically locked down? So, you know, I'm not just sleeping all day, and I'm not drinking all day. In fact, I don't really even drink all day. Most likely, when I drink, I drink for a couple of hours, then pass out, and then the napping thing starts all over again. So that's usually what I do. But we are taking, I myself am taking online classes, Shaw Academy, and I'm also doing a bit of a workout. And I can see a small, it's only been like a month, but you know, you start to see like small little things. Here's the thing. I was born without a chest. Been flat chested since I have no idea when. And I have tried working out before in the past, and I would never, you know, I'd get like two little small breasts. But I mean, I could never get to the, you know, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, all the Chris's kind of chest, you know. I mean, good Lord, I'm flat. I wore a T-shirt in the pool until I was like 35, 40, and then I'm like, fuck it, I don't care. But now I have been doing basic push-ups and stuff, so I feel like that there's something going on, something happening. When I put on a T-shirt, I can see a little something poking up out of the T-shirt. You can't see it now. I mean, I'm not there yet. I'm not to the point where it's like, oh my God, Joel, you're really so muscular. Why, thank you so much. And you know, I have to say that as a gay man, I don't think that I've really had much when it comes to body issues. I pretty much like my body. I mean, like I said, I know I complained earlier about never having a chest, which I didn't. And I wore a T-shirt and all that other stuff in the pool, which means that I had some body issues. But that was a long time ago. And I guess when you're younger, and I'm starting to really understand, the more that I thought about it when I was working out, the more I realized the difference between the age that I am now and the age I was back then. And I do realize that body image is a huge deal, especially when you're younger. I think when you're older, and most of the gay community has given up on you once you turn 30, 35, 40 anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You start to go, I don't really care. And like I said, I don't know if that has to do with just being older or if that's being older and gay, but I do know that, like I said, I have a lot less body image issues than I did back then. I always thought of myself as too skinny. And I had to say that when I did put on weight, when I got a little bit of a belly, when I, you know, this and that, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved now let me tell you, 25-year-old Joel weighed 130 pounds and he's 6 foot and skinny, and hated being skinny, just so hated being skinny. Then he got a job where he ate for free morning, noon, and afternoon, and always took a blueberry cheesecake home on the weekends and devoured that thing by the weekends in, and had gained 70 pounds. Literally gained 70 pounds. Now, I was never a big eater to begin with, and I'm finding that it's starting to roll back around. I think between the ages of 25 and 40, I became a bigger eater. But at 40 on, I've noticed that I don't eat as much. I do eat, but I eat a lot of junk, and I have eaten a lot of junk for quite some time. So I managed to keep a belly, and beer didn't help. In fact, I literally stopped drinking beer. I think I stopped drinking beer maybe about 2 years ago. I'm sorry. I stopped drinking beer maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. I got tired of the belly, and I got tired of the runs that I would get after drinking beer. I also got tired of the hangovers were, I mean, they weren't terrible. Wine hangovers are the worst. I don't know why, but wine hangovers are the worst. And I really think that the wine hangovers usually have more to do. And here's a little education for some of you people who like to drink wine. Don't drink it on an empty stomach. That's why your hangovers are terrible. Have a little snack. Have some cheese, some crackers, a little bit of fruit on the side. Have a snack with your wine, red or white. And a couple of my good friends from work who have been helping me out. When I was having a hard time, and I know that, here's the funny thing. A lot of people are probably going to be going back to work. Still could not get unemployed, could not get through the unemployment, still could not get unemployment. Some of y'all might even be getting your first checks and then you have to go back to work. I would suggest you enjoy those checks. For those of you who are just receiving your first check, pay your bills, this and that, especially a lot of people in the restaurant business. Make sure. Now, I got a letter from TWC, and I'm going to share it with you guys. Basically saying that I will continue to get benefits as long as if I'm working part-time. Now, if I went from full-time to only working part-time, you still have to claim what you make. When you do, for those of you in the restaurant business, when you do go back to work, you do have to claim what you make, but you will still be able to get benefits. You will stop getting benefits when you become when you go back to full-time. So if you were working 35 to 40 hours a week, you will lose those benefits, which by that time you won't need them. And I know with the extra $600 that you're getting from the government, some of y'all are enjoying it. Let me tell y'all so I have caught up on all my bills. I'm so happy when I first got my first check, I was thrilled. I got my first, it took me 2 weeks to get through the TWC. Finally got all the paperwork. Now, I didn't call them. I gave up on calling them. The day that we went on lockdown, I went, nope. I was not going to call them. So I went online to do it. And why? What are we spending money on? What am I paying property taxes and sales taxes on for an antiquated online? Oh my God. These people are still using technology from the early 2000s. I swear to God, they have no IT people. They literally have, and if they do, they have IT people from like 1995 and who still think it's 1995. They're like the Japanese soldier who didn't realize that World War II was over, that kind of thing. I mean, just terrible. So it did take me a little bit of time to get through. And once I got through, it was a relief. I was able to pay my rent. I was able to pay all my bills. So when I got this next check, I decided to treat myself a little bit. Treat yourself. Put that money back into the economy. That kind of thing. So, I bought a few little things for myself that I had put on hold because, my other job we were going through a slow period. So, I had to put some things on hold that I was finally able to get. Now, I'm not going to be foolish. The next time I get paid again, I'm going to take care of everything I need to take care of. And that's that. So I used this one to, make a few little purchases. I still have money in savings. And y'all should be, for those of y'all who are, especially those of you who are alone now, for those of you who have families, I realize that money is going to go quick. So that money is going to go quick. It's going to go to paying bills. It's going to go to keeping food on the table. That's what it's going to go to. And y'all should continue to do that. For those of you who are maybe in my situation where, it's just me, you need to save your money. And I'm saying that too because, I have a hard time saving money. Something always comes along. So y'all need to be saving your money. Please make sure to put some money back in savings. Because like I said, this is not going to last. I know that most of us are going to be going back to work here soon, but we're not going to be going back to work full time. So until and according to some of the articles I've read from the restaurant business, full dining capacity probably won't happen until either a treatment option is found that's effective or a vaccine is effective. So, a vaccine is found as well, or a vaccine is found. What am I doing? My mouth is all. Let me take a drink of Gatorade. Mouth is all dry. Sorry. So it will be a while before we go back to full capacity dining and probably back to somewhat normal. Although everybody keeps talking about nothing will be normal again. No, nothing will be normal again. And I think that from watching everything that I've been watching lately, yeah, nothing's going to go back to normal again. I have seen levels of stupidity beyond belief between a house party in Chicago. Now, when I read this article, the first time I saw this, I went, okay, it's a dumb teenager. Teenagers are dumb. And I know that they are probably going crazy under with their parents not being around or what have you. Mom and dad are probably working, probably essential jobs. They don't know what's going on, this and that. But this fool was 26 years old and threw a house party. Hundreds of people in the house. His mama is at work, working at the hospital. She doesn't even know this is going on. And 26 years old. Now, I'm not fixing to do the whole millennial thing because it's stupid, but he did the millennial thing. And he used his millennial status to make millennials look stupid. And I'm going to clap back on this kid because I'm going to tell you right now, you were being stupid. Everybody else was being in the house. You decided to throw a party. You decided to put all those people in danger. You decided to put all those family members, all their family members and friends in danger. That's what you decided to do in your mama's house, who did not know you were throwing a party. Had to be shown a video. This is in Chicago, y'all. Had to be shown a video from the police. The police had to show mama a video. When she came back to her house, the house was immaculate and clean. Now, that's some 80s shit for you. All those 80s movies where the kids had to clean up the house before the parents got home kind of thing. Yeah, so the house was immaculate when she finally got home. And she works in a hospital, by the way. So, surprise, surprise, here's the police at the door showing a video of a party going on in her house by her kid, who is 26 years old. And this is a black mama, so that kid is probably dead. That kid is probably dead, buried in the backyard somewhere, and ain't nobody looking. Every person who lives on that street went, well, she had a child. And things are bad when the mayor and the governor are like freaking out about this video. And by the way, there were some people in the video who were wearing masks, but not a lot. So that really goes to show that you're still going to go to a house party, but you're still going to practice stupidity. I don't even know where to go with this. Like I said, I have seen the stupid. I have seen people doing marches across the country talking about reopen businesses. In some states, the coronavirus rates are super high. You shouldn't really be out marching. And it's mostly, I feel like that most of these marchers aren't really marching to go back to work. I feel like that they're out there marching just to give Donald Trump a little bit of a boost. He's been getting hit so hard from all sides, including some of people who were Donald Trump fans who probably aren't anymore, being hit so hard by the media and everything else that, they decided that, let's use this pandemic to like give Mr. Trump a boost. Let's boost up his ego a little bit. I swear to God, his fans are rabid. He has Beatles style fan. I mean, I have never seen anything like it. I thought Obama, and I am a fan of President Obama, but I'm not to the point where I'm like, marching out in the streets or anything during a dangerous pandemic. I don't think anybody would be foolish enough to do that. But I'm seeing the foolishness of people out here marching and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, it's basically an ego boost for Mr. Trump. And I feel like that most of these people aren't really protesting the lockdowns. What they're really doing is showing their support for Mr. Trump. And they really need to be honest about that. You got kids out here doing dances. You've got people walking into state capitals with guns. Now, in Michigan, that's legal. You can't carry a sign, but you can carry a gun as long as it's out in the open and you can see it. I mean, okay, so you got that, and that's fine. I know, and like I said, on the last episode, and I said this, and I do have some empathy for some of the people who do want to go back to work, but I feel like that most of these people want everything to reopen for the silliest of reasons. Most people and most polls have shown that most people want states to continue the lockdown. In fact, 70% in the latest poll show that people still want the lockdown to continue until at least the end of May. But like I said, some states have decided that they're going to try to reopen. And in some cases, and this is sad, this is really showing where we have come as a society, and why this society is in serious trouble when we're starting to have these thoughts. I'm starting to see people go, well, you know what? If people get sick, people get sick and die. Well, they get sick and die. The economy, money has to keep going. Economy has to keep going. How did we get here? This is where we've gotten here. Now, I'm not saying that every state, and I'm not saying Texas is doing that, although certain lieutenant governor said that it might be okay for grandparents to give up their laws for their kids so that the economy can keep a turning. So we might have to see how that goes in the next election. I mean, these are people. These are some seriously fucked up people. And I cannot believe I'm saying that, but it's not to the level of other people's stupidity where, we are putting money and we're putting the economy over the lives of people. So I know that I know that a lot of people are antsy and they hate being at home. I feel like a lot of these people are really protesting because they don't want to be at home with the kids. And I know I said that last week and I don't want to repeat that again. But, we've seen that stupidity. What I'm really going to get into a little bit here is to talk about how this is affecting us as gays. And I think in the next half hour, I really want to focus on how this is affecting us as in the LGBTQ community, and why I'm starting to see more negative things that are coming out of this coronavirus. A virus that, by the way, affects us like it affects everyone else. But I'm harking back to the days of the AIDS epidemic, and I'm starting to see this virus being used as an excuse to perpetrate violence against gays. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I want to try to keep everything as cheerful and upbeat as possible. I really, really, really do. And if it makes anybody feel better, I'm wearing a shirt and nothing on the bottom. So just to make everybody feel better, I am, shirt and no bottom. Huh. That's pretty much been every day since the lockdown. I can't remember occasionally I'll put on to go to the grocery store, I still want to feel pretty. And I think that everybody wants to feel pretty when they go out. Everybody wants to feel a little sexy here and there. So, when I do make the trips, and I try not to make, by the way, I try not to make the trips to the grocery store too often. And so now that Houston has a mask thing going on, mandatory, not mandatory, it's been going back and forth. But anyway, for the most part, the grocery store I go to, HEB, says that that you have to have a mask on when you come in, which is fine. Your business, you run it your way, what have you. So you need to wear a mask. So like I said, the only time that I even put clothes on, maybe do my hair a little bit, make sure my teeth are brushed. You know, when I'm at home, when I've been at home for 3 days in a row, you think I've taken toothbrush to teeth? Nope. I probably got the nastiest mouth on the planet. And we're talking about literally and figuratively. I have the nastiest mouth on the. You don't want to kiss this. This tastes like garlic and maybe some pork. Throw in some fruit juice of some kind, like Gatorade or something. Gatorade is not a fruit juice, by the way, but throw in some of that. And yeah, so it gives me an excuse to brush my teeth and do my hair a little bit and put on something nice to go to the grocery store where I can buy toilet paper and soap. So yeah, so that's the only time that clothes are. Now, I do go outside and walk. And if you live in Houston, especially in the neighborhood that I live in, I do what I call the bridge walk. We have some really pretty bridges between Hazard Street all the way up to Yupon, maybe a little further up. And that's a walk. I don't know how many miles it is. I know it took me an hour and 45 minutes to walk those streets across to make sure I cross the bridge each time. And so I've been getting out in the neighborhood, walking around a little bit. But usually I have like, jogging shorts and tennis shoes and this and that. And I attempt to run. Not a big runner. Like I've told people before, if you see me running down the street, you might want to run because I'm not a big runner. Although I have bought the little pads for my knees. I'm thinking about it. You know, I think about running. And I get to the bridge and I do I do sprints. And what I do is I use my fear of heights to sprint across the bridge because it is high above the freeway. So I use my fear of heights to sprint across the freeway. But I've been doing it so much now that I'm no longer afraid of the bridges. And I'm actually kind of disappointed because then I could, sprint across, get my sprints in. But now it's like, I'll take a casual walk and I'll walk the fence closest to the freeway where I can look down on the cars. And I realize, if I jump right now, I can just jump on top of a truck or something and I'll be fine. As long as I don't hit the pavement, I'll be fine. Weird thoughts. Don't worry. They have the fence is super high enough. It's not one of those bridges with just a railing. It's the bridge. It has a fence that goes up to keep people from climbing it. And as far as I know, no one in their right mind should be climbing it. And I mean, no one in their right mind. I know that a lot of us have issues with our mental health, me in particular. So, the thought of climbing that fence has terrified me the first time that I was walking across those bridges because I had this incredible urge to climb the fence. And I couldn't understand why I had this incredible urge to climb the fence, but those urges went away the more that I started walking across the bridge. So I've been keeping busy trying to find things to do as well. And like I said, I'm starting to see some results. A couple of things I still need to work on. I still need to work on my sleep time because, like I said, 5 naps in a day is maybe a little bit too much. We need to. I haven't, unlike most of my friends who are in quarantine, I have not felt the need to drink every single day. Now, the first 3 days of quarantine with me trying to figure out what to do with myself and freaking out about having no money and freaking out about how I'm going to pay the bills and everything else and not being able to get through to unemployment and everything else. Oh, I drank. Oh, I drank a lot. I was drinking in the morning, I was drinking in the afternoon, and I was drinking in the evening. I drank a lot. And then I realized that, first of all, drinking costs money, so we have to save our money a little bit because we need food. And once I was able to negotiate bills and stuff, at least that took a lot of pressure off. I was able to negotiate most of my bills pretty quickly on, so that I can make sure that, something that I'd have a phone on and then I have lights on and I have internet. So I was able to negotiate most of my bills. So once I was able to negotiate my bills, I felt a sigh of relief and my drinking became curbed. Then when I was playing around online, I saw an ad for Shaw Academy. Like I said, I know that I mentioned these things. These are for me. Y'all don't have to do any of this. Y'all do your thing. But I'm not I'm not selling any blocks of space on my show, nor am I endorsing anything. I'm just telling you what's going on. When I saw that they had a free 4-week course, I said, you know what? I'll take it and see what it's all about. Now, you had to buy a couple of things, which I didn't have the money for, but at least I could take the course. And then when I would get the money, then I could pay for all that stuff later. So I took the 4-week course. I'm going to work on my final tomorrow. And I went on ahead and paid for an entire year of schooling so that I can get my degree, social media marketing and management. So, yeah. So after I was able to get a little infusion of money from my unemployment, I paid for a full year of school because I felt like I needed something to do. And because I had to be realistic, I don't know what's going to happen when this is all over with. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back to waiting tables again, simply because I don't know how the restaurant business is going to be. And as I've told people in the past on a past episode or two, this might be the time for you to start, for us who work in the restaurant field, to have some other skills. We need to get some other skills, because I don't think that we can trust the restaurant industry anymore. I think we're pretty much done on that. So, okay, I'm going to close out the Facebook Live portion of the show. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and I'll be right back to talk about a few things. Well, it's That Little Gay Talk Show, so let's talk about things gay, and sometimes fun and sometimes not. So I will be right back. And we're back. And I wanted to, like I said, say that I know that we've all been worried, scared, everything else about this whole thing. And I just want to keep reminding you, as long as you pick up the phone, call people, use your Zoom, use your FaceTime, use your messengers, whatever you need to do to keep in contact with people. Isolation does not mean loneliness. Reach out to people. And for those of you who don't have anyone to reach out to me if you need to. Reach out to someone. Anyone. If you're in crisis, if you're going through stuff, there are lots of hotlines. Suicide hotline. There's the LGBTQ hotline. There is, I'm sure AA and NA and all those have hotlines for people to reach out. Please reach out to someone. Don't do this all alone. I know that we have to be alone for the most part. For those of us who are alone, who are isolating alone, please don't do this on your own. Reach out to people, family, friends, whatever you need to do, but reach out so that you don't start to feel like the world is crashing in on you. And I know that a lot of us are scared. We don't know what's going to happen, but it is getting better, a little better every day. and we will get through this. 2020 sucks. I now realize 2020. When I look back at this years from now, when I'm in the old folks' home, in an old gay folks' home, I will not be looking back. I will probably look back at this with a little bit of fondness because, I'm used to being alone anyway. So self-isolation is not new to me. But at the same time, I realize something through self-isolation on a continuous basis. And that is, well, we do kind of need people sometimes. It's been a welcome break from having to deal with crappy customers and crappy employees and this and that. And I speak in the broad general sense. I'm not talking about my own personal experience. I love my employees the people that I work with for the most part. And most of my guests are great, but, we work in this business. So, there's going to be a few. Just reach out to people. Make sure that you're keeping in touch, and don't let this get you down. Things are going to get better. Things are getting better. There's a lot more talented people out there. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of videos on Facebook, on Instagram, on IGTV, even TikTok here and there. But here's the thing about TikTok. I'm not really seeing the creativity on TikTok. What I'm seeing is someone start something and then 90 people do the same thing for a long time, and it gets a few views here and there, and some people get really creative about it. But I'm not really seeing, I just see a lot of dancing, a lot of lip syncing, and a lot of changing from bathrobes into fabulous looking looks, which, by the way, those were cute the first 50, 500 times I saw it, and then it just got, oh my God, that the whole Don't Rush thing just got old real fast. So, like I said, I've been turning to Jenny Lorenzo. I've been turning to Tim Bay. I've been turning to Blame It on Tonkway. I know I'm saying it wrong, and I apologize to this guy. I apologize if I've mispronounced it, but that's how I see it. I've been watching Pat DeLucky. I've been watching a lot of creators doing their thing, doing funny skits, doing funny videos, and they've gotten, they keep me laughing, and they've gotten me through a lot of dark times during this whole thing. So I've been watching a lot of that. I've been listening to a few more podcasts, mostly for ideas on how to improve my own. I'm having to start this whole thing all over again. Having to start fresh and new, and having to learn to do this on my own for a while has not given me a lot of confidence. I have not felt confident about doing this show on my own because I don't usually have a funnier person on the side of me, or I don't have a person who is duller than me on the side, and then I can bring out the funny in them. So I don't have that. So it's just me. So I've not instilled a lot of confidence in myself when it comes to doing this show on my own. But slowly but surely I am slowly but surely starting to feel more comfortable doing the show on my own. I think in the first few episodes that you guys listened to, I was not very comfortable, and alcohol had to be brought in to bring myself a sense of comfort. But not this time. This time we woke up from a nap and said, let's just do the show. And I feel very good in the place that I'm at right now in doing the show. So it's slowly starting to come. And, amazingly enough, it really has boiled down to taking the classes that I've been taking have shown me the mistakes that I've made and what I could possibly do to do things better. And I have to say that if you can find something out there to keep you busy, please find something out there to keep you busy. I've also been doing a lot more cooking, which for me, it's been white boxes for years, and maybe 3 things in the refrigerator that included mayo, mustard, which, by the way, I learned don't keep mustard in the refrigerator. Mayo, a 6-pack of beer, or wine or vodka or whatever it was that week, and maybe 3 slices of bread. I actually had to take a picture of my refrigerator the other day because I'd never seen it so full in all my life. So I've been doing a lot more cooking, and then I realized, you know what? This is why I have been shopping a little bit too, because when you're cooking and you realize you don't have the proper utensils, you don't have the proper thing, then you're like, you know what? I need to make a list of all the things I need for this kitchen. Even though sooner or later you're going to end up going back to work and you're probably not going to have time to be doing all this stuff, but you would like to have these things when you do have the time, because I'm not going to work 24 hours a day. I've got to do the show. I've got to do social media. I'm going to be promoting a new show for my friend John Floyd that'll be coming along later as soon as he gets off his lazy ass and gets all the stuff done that I asked him to do for the show. I'm going to be doing a lot more marketing of both of the shows. I have my production company that I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to be quite busy. So a lot of that time is probably going, because my studio is my home, is going to be done at home. So, I still have to pay the bills, so I still have to go to work. So a lot of that stuff is still going to be done at home. So I've become to understand that spending $40-$50 eating out, that's probably I'm going to probably curb that for a while. No, as much, my favorite, I'm not one to be a regular at a place. I don't know why. It's just not in my nature to be a regular at a place, but there are a couple of restaurants in the neighborhood that, as soon as I walk in the door, they know who I am. It might be 1 or 2, but, this and that. And I'll still continue to see them every great now and then, but I enjoyed, and I still enjoy cooking at home. I enjoy making myself little meals. What I enjoy most of all is getting a recipe right, even though I don't have the things I need to make it right. I haven't done any baking yet, and mostly because for the most part, and this is the honest God truth, it's because I'm working out and I'm trying to make sure that I don't, I haven't eaten a lot of sweets. I'm a big fan of donuts. Love donuts. Love donuts. Love cookies. Love all that stuff. But since I started working out, I don't really crave sugar all that much. In fact, I usually put a ton of sugar in my oatmeal in the morning. You know what? All almond milk and peanut butter. Perfect sweetener for my oatmeal. Perfect. That's just enough oatmeal, just enough sugar to sweeten my oatmeal without it being overwhelming. I have my sweet tea addiction is, it's pretty much gone. When I realized how much sugar, and me and my friend Chris were sitting around and we were trying to come up with ideas on how to get, some things in my personal life together. And when I told him that I add 2 cups of sugar to like 3 gallons of iced tea, I thought he was going to faint. And I realized that is an awful lot of sugar to add to iced tea. Like I said, these are the mundane things you do when you're when you're stuck in the house. And so I realized that when I cut it down to 1 cup per 3 gallons, not as sweet, but still delicious. And in fact, when I don't want sweet tea, I just don't make it. Ended up drinking the Gatorade Zeros and trying to find zero sugar drinks as much as I possibly can. I know a lot of these drinks contain sucralose and stevia and all these other things to give that kind of sweetness. I'm not really one for diet sodas or any of that. I drink Coke when I have a bourbon, for the most part. So, or ginger ale if I can find. if any bar has ginger ale. Ginger ale. But for the most part, I'm not really a big sodas person. You won't see me. I think I had some leftover vanilla Coke one time, and I was kind of thirsty, and I wanted something, and I drank a vanilla Coke. It was delicious, but I went, I'm not running down the street to buy more vanilla Coke. So I know that I have been eating a lot less sugar than I have been, and I can see some of the progress. My belly is not as big; it's flappy, and I do use the word flappy because when you smack it, it just goes flap, 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 flap. So it's flappy, but it's not like Buddha belly, beer belly. People what is it with people always putting their hands on your belly? That's you invading my space. Now I understand pregnant women. Okay, that's a joke. I don't want pregnant women sending me email. That's a joke. Okay, but I now understand pregnant women better when people walk up to them and start touching their belly. I mean, just literally, I have strangers walk up. Oh, your belly's gotten big. Why the fuck is your hand on my belly? What the fuck is wrong with you? Well, I was just having fun, but no, you don't know. I didn't walk up and grab your dick now, did I? I could have just walked up and grabbed your dick, but I didn't because it's respect. Stop patting and it used to make me mad and actually very self-conscious when people, especially when my friends do it, made me very self-conscious. So it's not as flappy. It's a little flappy, and that's because it's lost a little bit of there's not a lot of sugar going in there. So, trying to eat more avocados and more grilled chicken. You can only do so much with grilled chicken, though. Oh my God, you can only do so much with grilled chicken. But I made this incredibly good grilled chicken salad with mushrooms and tomatoes, a little bit of peanuts, some yellow onions instead of red onions. Now I know a lot of people like to use red onions, but I went on ahead and used yellow onions, and it was a delicious. I made a big giant salad with 2 giant chicken breasts, thinking that I was going to have leftovers. I ate that whole thing. I ate that whole big bowl, sitting in front of TV watching. I don't even remember what I was watching. Maybe something on Amazon Prime or something. So that's what I was doing there, and so we have, been trying to find ways to improve ourselves a little bit. I am 100% now, 100% a non-smoker. I am going into month 5 without smoking. It has been great. The funny thing is that when this whole thing started, the first thought I had in my head was, why did I quit smoking? Why did I quit smoking? The world is about to end, and this is the time where I quit. I'm going to run out and buy a pack of cigarettes. But you know what? I just didn't have the inclination to run out and buy a pack of cigarettes. When I got to the store, I went, I'll just take a bourbon. I'm sorry, the liquor store. When I got to the liquor store, I went, no, I'll just have a bourbon. I've not had the inclination to smoke cigarettes at all. Smoking weed, now that's a different story. And this is a podcast. I'm going to be honest, I like to smoke weed every now and then. I'm not I'm not a dedicated weed smoker. I don't wake up to smoking weed and go on bed smoking weed, but I like to have a little bit of something when I'm sitting in front of the TV. Sometimes when I'm watching, especially when I'm watching anime, I've got my favorite snacks, and I'm about to enjoy a very relaxing evening. So I like to have a little bit of weed to relax me. That way I don't have to drink. And even when I do have a cocktail, I might have one the entire time that I'm high. I might have one cocktail, and that's it. And it's kind of a nice escape. But for the most part, it's just weed. And, that's the hardest thing that I have not had any weed this entire time. And let me tell you something, I miss weed. I can't find a weed connection. So if anybody out there who lives in Houston wants to drop me a line, DM me, so to speak, about weed, that would be nice. Okay. So we have literally spent this half hour. I thought I was only going to do an hour show, but I think I can do an hour and a half. It's amazing how much talking you can do when you don't even realize how much talking you can do. So, yeah. So like I said, if anybody has a weed hookup, y'all, you know what to do. I don't think the FCC is going to come down that hard on me. It is a podcast after all. So that's that. So, speaking of which, I'm going to end this half hour with a little something that I wanted to tell you. Now, we have been talking about this for a while, and this was something that, I was told that I had to do. Now, I went through the whole Tiger King thing, and I know that I probably keep bringing it up, and and I know I say that I'm never going to bring it up again, but I want to bring up a couple of points that I had that I think this was Vogue or Vanity Fair Australia that brought up a point, which I'm glad the memes have stopped, and the Carol Baskin jokes have pretty much stopped. As I've said before, this man deserves to be in jail, and he needs to sit in jail. He threatened to kill someone, and he abused his tigers. So he needs to be in jail. In fact, I think everybody on this damn show deserves to be in jail, with a couple of exceptions, but I think everybody deserves to be in jail on this show. I think keeping tigers as pets, as playthings, is wrong. There's only 4,000 tigers in the wild, but there are 10,000 in captivity in the United States, and I don't get that. I honestly don't get that. And this thing was so full of misogyny. It was the attitudes of the men in this thing were just terrible. We're not even going to get into Joe Exotic himself. There was a little hate that I saw online about the fact that, this is what old gay men do. And I'd like to say one more time, this is not what old gay men do. And how dare you lump gay men over a certain age into that group. He did what he did to, by the way, these were not children. Y'all act like these were 14, 15-year-old boys. These were grown men. Yes, one of them might have been 18, 19 years old, but legally they can join the army. They can't drink, but they can join the army. And by the way, they can do crystal meth. And they can drink, obviously. And yes, he lured them in just like the other guy lured his women in. And I didn't see anybody make a big deal about that. They always make a big deal. When it's the gay guy, this is what we get as gay people. If it's a heterosexual guy, it's like he has a harem. He's super cool, blah, 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 blah. If it's the gay guy doing it, he's a pervert, he's old, and he's terrible. And that not only comes from the heterosexual community, that comes from the gay community too. And it really upsets me more. I don't really care about the heterosexual community on that level, but it really hurts me more when it comes from the gay community. So I just wanted to say that because, like I said, we're gonna get into the next half hour. I had only planned on doing an hour show. Yeah, I really had only planned on doing an hour show. But I really want to get more into focus on the fact that this is that little gay talk show. And we need to talk about gay and lesbian issues and bisexual and transgendered and the Q and the I's and the A's and all this other stuff. And I really need to start talking more about that. We've been so coronavirused out, except for the fact that, this is the first morning that I've woken up and my Twitter page wasn't covered in dick pics. What is going on with that? I have enjoyed. Now, I know I complained about it before. I know. Why is it every time I wake up on Twitter, it's full of dick pics? Well, this morning there was no dick pics, and I'm very disappointed. For those of you who are following my Twitter page, it's full of dick pics. And I'd like to see those dick pics return. I think what I will do, though, is have my own personal account where those show. I have become a big fan of the little OnlyFans, the little shorts that when I go through, when guys do send me dick pics, they have a lot of OnlyFans accounts. And I want to tell y'all something. I might recognize a couple of y'all, and I understand. You got to earn a living. I completely understand. To the sex workers out there, more power to you using the internet to keep money coming in. You got to keep the bills paid. And I can guarantee you right now, you should be making money hand over fist. Pun intended. You should be making lots of money because there's a lot of bored people, a lot of bored, horny, single people, and sometimes married people who are like, you know what? I think I'm willing to pay for. Usually, I mean, you can only watch so much at the other video sites before you get bored. At least OnlyFans, it's exciting. These are real people. Not that those aren't real people. Those are mostly actors, but these are kind of real people, earning a living. And I'm all for sex. I'm all about the sex workers. Y'all need to do y'all thing. I know y'all not getting unemployment unless you have another job, but I know that you're probably not getting unemployment and you need to earn a living. Y'all need to earn a living. And if doing it online is the only way to do it, I say go for it. I'm all for the sex worker. Power to the sex worker, y'all. Because they out here making a living too. Everybody needs to make a living. And I don't see anything wrong with sex work. Never have, never will. You do your thing. When I was asked years ago if I would date someone in the porn industry, I don't have a real problem with it. I don't see what the big issue is. At least they'd have some, would I be insecure about my skills? I think I'd like to learn more. So it'd be nice to, be able to learn more stuff, So I don't think I would have a problem with dating someone in the sex industry. So, and I'm not talking about just in porn. There are sex workers who help the handicapped. There are sex workers who are trying to help you in sales out there. Y'all might need to look into sex workers. Hello, in sales out there. I have seen some of your pages, especially on Reddit. Y'all might want to look into sex workers. Y'all can afford it. If you can afford the computer you're sitting in front of, you can afford a sex worker. If you really need to get off that bad or need to get a self-esteem boost, get a sex worker. At least they can show you at least what to do with the opposite or the same sex or whatever you're into. So in sales, get out there. Sex workers. They're the T. So, all right. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break and we're going to finish the last half of the show. Now I have been talking about mundane things. I have been talking about a little bit of mental health. I've been talking about cooking and exercising, my own personal experiences through this whole thing, and possibly getting back to work here soon. I will be going back to work. I don't know when. I haven't gotten a phone call from the bosses yet, so we don't know I don't know what's going on with that. So I will know here in, I guess, the next week or two. So you guys just do your thing. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I will be right back. And we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Back. We're back. I don't know why I did that. No, I'm not drunk or high. We're back to the last third of that little gay talk show. Let's get into. I had to. While I was on break, I had to talk to John Floyd, who will be having his own show here shortly, about going back to work. And it turns out that a couple of locations where I work will be opening up. The rest will remain closed for a while. So it looks like I'm going to be at home for a little while longer than I thought I was. They are going to have a meeting tomorrow. I think they're going to open up on Saturday. and they are going to be running at 25% capacity. Masks will be worn. So this is going to be interesting. So I can't wait to hear back from him on how it went and everything else on the next show. So we're gonna talk to him and find out how that went the first week that we're back in business. Now, like I said, the location that I work and a few other locations will not be open as far as I know. I have not gotten any phone calls. But I was told by him that only a couple of more locations will be opening, and it probably will not be mine. So I guess I'll be at home a little while longer than I thought I would be. So let's get down to some gay and lesbian LGBTQIA news. Shocking news. Well, not really shocking. I mean, if you're really keeping up with what's going on in the world, then you should know. So I shouldn't really have to tell any of you this. But for the most part, I know that a lot of you aren't. So let's get into it right now. I want to talk about a couple of things that's been going on since this coronavirus thing happened. Now, usually in the United States, when disasters of any multitude happen, usually we can always count on Pat Robertson to blame the gays for it and to blame same-sex marriage and abortion and all this other stuff on why these things were happening in our country. And, you know, as a gay person, you kind of get used to it. You know, it's kind of like having that racist uncle that always comes to the family dinner. You know he's there. You just nod your head and then you move on to the rest. And then you're like, why do y'all keep inviting him here? I mean, why does he keep showing up? You know, and there are some people who love him and, you know, they don't want him to be alone. But, you know, why do we keep inviting him to the family dinner? So that's, you know, we get used to that. There's always going to be some minister, preacher, or what have you that's going to do that. And that's the thing. So you get used to that after a while. A couple of things, though, that were disheartening to find out is Mr. Trump and his, what is it with this man and transgendered people? I really wish someone would do an expose on why he dislikes transgender people. He just completely, even through this whole COVID mess, and this whole thing has been a mess. Let's all face it. It's been pretty much of a mess. I stopped watching briefings because they just got ridiculous. And after the one before that where, you know, bleach and light rays and lasers and stuff were involved, I just got tired. So I just stopped watching them because they're just ridiculous. But here's the thing. What is going on with him and transgender people? I would like, if someone could please tell me what is going on with him and transgender people, I'd really like to know. You DM me, please. Because his hatred for transgendered people is borderline just, I don't even know psychotic? I don't even know what to say here. He has literally told health officials that it's okay if you don't want to treat transgender people during the COVID thing. Now, doctors have taken an oath. All people in the medical, doctors, nurses, that if you're working in I don't care if you're the x-ray technician or what have you, you have taken an oath to provide care to human beings, regardless of who they are. And I would think that 90% of doctors would provide care no matter what. So I would like to think that is going on. So, and I say 90%, that number could probably be higher. I just went with 90% simply because it might make, I don't know. It just sounded like a good number. But I would think that 90% of doctors, up to 99% of doctors, don't really give a shit about who you are as a human being. We're in COVID. You know, they're trying to treat COVID. I don't think they really care. But for this man to literally tell health officials that health officials don't have to treat, do not have to treat transgender people if they don't want to, if it goes against their religion. I don't think that we should be doing that. And I don't understand why that was necessary for him to do that. I really don't understand why he felt through all of this, that it was necessary to once again put transgendered people on the table during I just don't get this, man. I really don't get this, man. It just makes me angry. It just completely makes me angry that here we are. But then, like I said, everything he does through this whole thing has made me angry. And I'm not a big Biden fan. I don't know what's going on with this Tara Reid person. I'm like, so as one meme put it, so I have a choice between super old guy with dementia or what have you, and a rapist, and another super old guy with dementia and a rapist. This is what, oh my God, this is what it's really boiled down to. This is what it's really boiled down to. So I don't understand. 2020 is fucking messed up. It is fucking messed up. Across the pond, we have in Morocco a transgendered beauty influencer who I guess got outed by a gay person, I guess. From the story I read, it's horrible all around. It's just completely horrible all around. She got outed by, I'm supposing, a gay person, and then decided to get her and her friends together, and they would out as many gay men as they possibly could. Which, by the way, in Morocco, being gay is illegal. Gay sex could get you a fine or years in prison. So she decided to go online and on TikTok, on her Instagram, and out these people. Now, I think Instagram and Facebook were quick to block her. TikTok, not so much. And I think we have a problem with TikTok. We really do have a problem with TikTok. This was on TikTok for a little while. So just as the racist teenagers video was on TikTok for far too long. TikTok needs to address these issues. And I don't understand why they allow this to happen for so long. It was long enough for them to, one person committed suicide. Other people have been thrown out of their homes. This is, I don't understand. I'm really having a hard time with this because it's just not more, it's Turkey, Poland, Poland, Poland is really interesting. A lot of places in Poland have declared themselves LGBTQIA free. They are free, like we are pests, like we are nothing but cockroaches that they exterminated. And that really frightens me. That really does frighten me. I would like to send a shout out to some really incredible human beings in Poland who handed out rainbow mask to everyone to make sure that they were protected. They were a gay couple in Poland. And, under all that hate and vileness, to see the potential that we have to be above that is incredible. I'm so proud and so lucky to be a part of a community that rises above this. I am angry about Morocco. I am angry about the United States. I'm angry about Turkey and Poland. I'm especially angry at Uganda for doing a roundup, using the coronavirus as a roundup for gay people, and of queer people. I'm going to say queer. I'm going to say queer just to count everybody under the umbrella. I'm just going to say queer. To rounding up queer people, using the coronavirus as an excuse to do so. We still have Poland. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I want someone to DM me if possible. You can do so at littlegaytalkshow.com or send me a message. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not at littlegaytalkshow.com. That website is no longer of use. Do not use that. Do not go to that website at all. I am working on a new website, and I will be posting it on Facebook here. Posting it on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram here when it's done. I'm working on it. It's actually going to be That Little Gay Talks. And we're going to talk about these issues, and I want you to use that as a platform to tell me about what's going on in your world, to tell me what things you're seeing and what's happening. And hopefully you'll be able to send me pictures and that kind of stuff. And I want to really know what's going on in your lives. So that's going to be fun. And I should have the website completely, well, not completely. It's going to be a work in progress. I should have it up and ready for the most part by the weekend. I'm having fun playing around with it right now. So that should be up and running during the weekend. I will be trying to include features where you can leave posts and all that other stuff. So that's going to take me a lot of work. I'm probably going to spend an entire day doing that. So you can do that. I'm just flabbergasted at everything that is going on right now, especially in the gay and the queer community. The hate, the shamelessness, it's depressing to think about it when you think about it. But then you start to see the small things. You start to see Pink News did a little on Twitter. Thank you, Pink News, for this, because I was starting to feel a little bit, angry. But to see, and if you want to go to Pink News on Twitter. They have a little video segment where it starts off with two people. I'm not going to say a couple because it's Pink News. It's a man and a woman. And I'm sure they're not heterosexual in any way. And they are passing a bottle of sanitizer to gays and lesbians and other queer folk around the world. And I saw Morocco. I saw Poland. I wish I could have seen an African country. Would have been nice to see. I would have liked to see a few more people of color, but hey, I'll take what I can get at this point. I'm not going to complain too much about that. I'll take what I can get, just to see that in these places, especially Morocco and Poland, these people who were brave enough to do this video. Thank you for that. It gave me a little bit of, it really does say how much we can overcome when we have to. And half of the time we have to. And that's a shame, because if we don't, then we're going to end up in some bad places if we don't. So just to see this going on gives me a sense of, relief that, one, I'm not going to walk around angry at heterosexuals all the time. I'm not angry at heterosexuals. And I want this to be quite clear. I'm not doing any hetero bashing. I love my heterosexual friends. I love, especially my male friends. I know I make fun of you guys a lot. I know I make fun of you guys a lot, but I just wanted to let you know that, yes, there's a lot of stupidity. There's stupidity on both sides. Like, I literally just talked about the fact that a transgendered woman, a beauty influencer, was outing gay men out of revenge, and she didn't have a problem with it. Now, I don't know the full story, and I don't know what happened. And I I sympathize. I guess she felt like she had to do this. But I wish she would have really thought about why she felt the need to do this. You're a member of the community. I don't understand why you felt the need to do this. I know that because of coronavirus, there will not be any pride parades. There'll be no pride festivals. 2020 sucks. And it is proving to be just hell on the gay community in certain places. Because like I said, a lot of places are using the coronavirus, especially a lot of places where Christianity or Islam is involved. Those places are using this virus as an excuse to discriminate, to bring hate, to bring, I mean, it's a terrible excuse. And I want to say that to all my queer folks around the world, especially in those countries, please hold your head up high, especially in Africa. I know that in Africa, there's only maybe a few places. South Africa, I think there are a couple of places, and I'm going to have to look them up, where being LGBTQ or queer is acceptable and has become a normal part of society. And for that, I applaud you for it. I know I mentioned South Africa, but but everybody expects South Africa to be a bit more liberal when it comes to it. But I'm really looking for other African countries. As a black man in this country, it's hard enough when, you see violence perpetrated on our communities. But it's hard enough, but it's even harder when I look across the pond and I see it being, once again, perpetuating hate. Just finding someone marginalized to hate on. It's like we always look for someone to blame for our own problems, and we're not taking responsibility for our own lives. And to look at a community of people who have no interest in being a part of your life, who have never done anything to hurt you in any way, shape, or form, that really bugs me. That really does. I try to keep upbeat and everything else, and it's hard to keep upbeat during all of this. I find little things here and there. Like I said, the videos, the videos that I've mentioned that have made me laugh, the TikToks here and there that have been pretty funny or pretty wild. Some of the cooking videos on TikTok are funny as hell. But like I said, I have a problem with TikTok. They need to get on the ball when it comes to offensive videos. And this video was offensive. You really need to get to understanding that you're becoming now one of the biggest social media platforms on the planet. And you did so. And I applaud that. It's really a testament that young people are really having a good time on TikTok and they're doing their thing. Do I see a lot of creatives on TikTok? I'm going to be honest. No, not a lot. Not a lot. The majority of it, like I said, it's just a bunch of people dancing or lip syncing to some song and trying to get a little bit of notoriety. I get it. I understand. It's not a big issue. Like I said, it's people having fun. But TikTok needs to work out some issues. I think they grew so fast that they still haven't worked out certain issues. So I think they need to work on those issues. Like I said, I really wanted to, it's just been a terrible, terrible, terrible year for the queer community, but the queer community is sticking together. We're doing what we can. And I need everybody out there who is queer and creative to continue to do what you can to continue to bring us joy as much as you can bring us joy, to point out the things in society that we need to change, to ally yourself with other groups to try to, come to understandings and this and that. This virus I think, has changed humanity. I don't know if it's changed it for the worse. I don't know if it's changed it for the better. It has brought out the worst in us, but it's also brought out the best. And you can't have one. Unfortunately, as long as we're human beings, we can't have one without the other. In a perfect society, the worst, we wouldn't have the worst. But as long as human beings run society, there's always going to be a worse. And like I said, in the United States, we see it all the time. And like I said, you just get used to it after a while. And it's a sad state of affairs when you get used to it. But at the same time, I'm starting to see people speak up more. I'm starting to see people talk about things that they couldn't talk about before. I'm starting to see a lot of hypocrisy come full forward. And it is amazing to see. It almost makes me laugh at the hypocrisy of this society coming right in your face, and seeing the people who said one thing now saying something else, and then having to answer for that it's actually kind of fun. Like I said, I keep up with enough news to find out what's going on with coronavirus. I know the numbers and everything else and everything. And here in Houston, I think Houston has done a very good job. I think the people of Houston have done a very good job of keeping the numbers low. I think everybody's a little worried about what would happen when things start to slowly reopen. Will those numbers tick up? But I think our hospitals have been prepared this entire time. We're not New York. Thankfully enough, we're not New York. We're not Florida. We're not Michigan. We're not seeing those numbers. And I'm hoping that if we do everything responsibly, we won't see those numbers. But once again, you're dealing with human beings. And if you've seen from the protests, which I love, I love some of the protesters out there who are wearing full body hazmat suits and masks and saying that this whole thing is a hoax. It's hilarious. I love seeing nurses out there in the streets, standing in the streets, standing up to these protesters as well. I loved seeing that. That's amazing. I saw one woman literally shouting at a nurse that they belong in a hospital taking care of the sick. They shouldn't be out here in the streets protesting. And a nurse looking at her like, really? I think I would like to be there, but but guess where I'm at? I'm in the streets looking at you saying that you need to be at home. It's brought out the worst, but I think creatively it's brought out the best. I think that we are starting to look at our politicians a little bit more. I think that when election time comes around, a lot of people won't be having jobs. A lot of people will not have jobs. I need everyone in the queer community to understand this and understand this well, especially people of color. You need to vote. Old people go out and vote all the time. This is why we have such draconian laws right now, and they are draconian. We have a religious right that is gaining way too much power and putting way too much influence on American society. On the upside, though, because of this, a lot of people are steering away from religion because they see the negative effects of religion. So a lot of people are steering away from it. In fact, the numbers have been higher than they've been in I don't know how long. And as it's been quoted, probably the highest ever, because people are turned off by religion, whether it be Christianity, mostly since we're such a Christian nation, and I'm going to go down that road. A lot of people are turned off by it. And it's really started to have a negative effect on the religious right. And that, I think that's a good thing. I have no problem with whatever religious affiliation you might belong to. I have no problem with that. Zero zip nada do I have a problem with that. What I have a problem is that when you start to use religion to impose your views on other people. We keep talking. There was talk about Sharia law, Sharia, whatever law, and Muslim influence in the United States. But I feel like Christianity's doing the same exact thing, trying to impose their views on what perfect country they want, which is a Christian country, and it's pretty much the same thing. So I don't know what the big deal is. So we are just about done with this episode. I'm going to end this episode by telling all my queer folks out there, you are loved. You are loved by friends. You're loved by family. And family means the people who are your blood or the people that you choose. You may fuss and fight. You may not agree all the time. But the love is still there. And you will always, always love them. So here's something. I'm going to send some shouts out. I'm going to send shouts out. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to send shouts out to those who we have disagreed. We have not seen eye to eye. We have not gotten along. But you are still loved. You are still loved by me, and you will always be loved by me. And we will come together. And I don't want to wait. And by the way, I love when people put out these little memes or little things where it's like, why do people wait until you die or get sick or what have you before? No, let's not do that. Let's come together. Let's find the love out there. And like I said, even if we don't get along, even if sometimes we fuss and fight and everything else, it's all about the love. And I love this community. I'm honored to be a part of this community, even with all its flaws. This community has a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws. But I feel like that this is a community that's working on its flaws. It really is. It's going to take a little bit of time, and we're going to get there. But at least this community is trying to work on its flaws. And those who've been underserved in this community are now speaking out. And isn't that what you want? You want people, those who are underserved, those who've been neglected, those who have been tossed aside. Those people, you want those people to stand up because you want their voices to be heard. You need these people. We need these people. So remember that, queer community, that the faces have to be all faces. And that's the most important thing, that all faces in this community have to be shown. So I'm going to end this with love, peace, and stop with the foolishness. Let's all stop with the foolishness and just try to get along. Let's just try to get along. So I'm going to try to find some music here. Let me see. I need to update the music here. I really do need to update the music here. So let's see. Let's go with number 2. Let's see what number 2 does.
David, what?
No. Not doing that. Okay, so let's see. Bottom and we're on the wrong screen. Okay, so let's end this show. And everybody dance, and everybody sing, and everybody have joy, and everybody find peace, and everybody find love. Joel Tatum, That Little Gay Talk Show. We're done.